Somebody in there must be good. All right, welcome everyone to the October 8th meeting of the Westbury Sound Recreation and Cultural Center Board. Looking at the agenda, are there any additions to the open agenda tonight? Seeing none. For approval of the agenda, a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Fellner, seconded by Councillor Dobro. That the agenda for the October 8th, 2025 Westbury Sound Recreation and Cultural Center Board is hereby approved as circulated. Discussion. All's in favor? It's carried. Do we have a archipelago rep here tonight?
Tom,
Oh,
Councillor Tom Lundy is
Tom.
joining us.
yeah. Do we have him on screen or we?
I'm on here. Can you hear me? It's Tom Lundy.
Yeah, I can hear you. Now we can see you.
I thought Bert was going to be on the call, but I'm here. So
Okay, welcome.
thank you.
Item 1.3, declaration of pecuniary interest. Seeing none. Move on to item 1.4, approval of the minutes of a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Fellner, seconded by Mayor McGarvey. That the minutes of September 10th, 2025 regular meeting of the Westbury Sound Recreation Cultural Center Board are hereby approved as circulated. Discussion? All's in favor? It's carried. Delegations to correspondence, none scheduled for tonight. On to item 3, business for tonight. Item 3.1, any steering committee updates that aren't scheduled for further in the meeting tonight? Seeing none, move on to item 3.2, monthly financial reports. I understand Ms. Phillips is joining us virtually tonight.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Can you
Can
hear us?
everybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear. Can you hear us?
Oh, perfect. Yes. The balance sheet shows that the cash balance is at 429,000 at the end of September, 201,000. The amount due to the fundraising account is approximately 1.1 million. The line of credit was not utilized in September, but it's expected to be needed in October. A claim of 1.87 million has been submitted for grant revenue, revenues for capital expenses up to and including September. Capital work in progress is now at 19.7 million. The 44 Joseph Street property has been transferred to the MSB and is recorded at cost of 2,075,000 roughly. The loan to the town of Parry Sound for the initial purchase of the property is reflected as forgiven, and the 36 Smith Crescent property is currently reflected at the cost of the promissory note, legal, and other transfer costs totaling 166,000 approximately, and reported as held for sale. The statement of operations, 645,000 approximately in donations, 4,781 in other fundraising initiatives, and 291,500 in sponsorship naming rights revenues have been received year to date. 4.97 million in grant revenues have been claimed year to date. Funds on hand are earning interest of 61,000. As of September, the total fundraising to date is at 2.83 million of the targeted 5 million. And a new donation of 20,000 from Peter and Catherine Singer Foundation is now reflected. And a 50,000 donation from Hewitt and Lynn Heersink Foundation is coming. So that will be reflected in October. So there's the update year to date or for the month. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Okay, thank you for that report. Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, and I'll ask for a mover and a second to accept the financial reports. Moved by Mayor McGarvey, seconded by Councillor Lundy. All those in favor? It's carried. Item 3.3, the project and budget update. submitted by the steering committee. I think Mr. Maluk can't join us tonight, so Mr. Inwood is gonna carry the ball on that. Mr. Inwood?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just gonna share screen here. So on behalf of Ball and the steering committee, this is our project update for October. Similar format to what you're used to. We'll give a brief overview of the short-term construction schedule with some ongoing and new activities, the overall project schedule, and a budgeting contingency update. The short-term schedule and ongoing work. There's a majority of the framing completed for the areas under the first slab on grade pour. Drywall crews are on site this week, resuming board install and mudding and taping. Framing above the change room block walls will follow masonry right behind that. Block walls, masonry is on site this week to install masonry walls around the change rooms, mechanical and filtration rooms. Miscellaneous metals, installing various items throughout the building. Mechanical and electrical working throughout the entire building with the primary and secondary cables being pulled, working on permanent power, and additional grounding work has been completed. The HVAC team is installing ductwork in available building space, rooftop units, and the big mechanical unit inside. The mechanical room will be hoisted in and over the upcoming weeks before the end of the month. Sprinkler system with high piping near completion. Most of the available area completed. Exciting work happening with the pool, working on the underground drains for the therapeutic pool and the slab on grade. The exterior glazing glass install is to be completed around the end of this month, and exterior site works mobilized to site this week, working on subgrade curbs, sidewalks, and base asphalt to follow. The overall project schedule, continuation with mechanical and electrical, that's going to be happening for the next number of months, with the primary focus on permanent power and installing equipment for both the mechanical and the electrical systems. Sprinkler installation above the change rooms, mechanical room and filtration room, interior walls, working on drywall, mudding and taping, block walls, and painting of walls will start this month. The project budget has not seen any changes since the December 11th, 2024 project update. We're still sitting at 90% of the total hard costs which have been tendered. The landscape tendering is being finalized in the next coming days, and the overall project budget currently remains at approximately 39.5 million. The construction contingency continues to be in a favorable position. To date, we've issued $361,000 in subsequent tender contracts approved and pending changes. The construction contingency is currently sitting at $737,000. In the last couple of weeks, we've completed the second significant concrete pour with slab on grade number 2, which is identified here. This is change rooms, mechanical room, and the filtration room. The slab on grade for the lap pool has been poured, and as you can see in the picture here, work is being prepared for the therapeutic pool. This is the east end of the gymnasium, which is, as you can see, the hollow wall metal door frame or hollow metal door frames and framing above the block walls and the bulkheads have commenced. The left picture is framing above the window with the block walls ongoing, framing of the ceiling coves above the reception area, drywall board install, and as you can see overhead, mechanical and electrical work continuing. On the right is the north-south corridor. And again, more progress on mechanical and electrical underway. With that, Mr. Chairman, concludes our report.
All right, thank you for that. Any questions or comments before I ask for resolutions? Mayor Garvey?
Excuse me, Mayor McGarvey, can you listen?
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for the report, and I just want to say that I'm really glad that we have a construction crew that knows what they're doing. That is an extremely intricate building with a lot of complicated components, and it is really good to see how this is coming together and how they're doing a fantastic job doing it and on budget.
And if you don't mind, Mr. Chair, I'll share that, my compliments to Ball. I know, Mr. Hunt, and myself were on site, last week to review a couple of things, and I think we both agree that that site is clean. And to me, a clean construction site is one that is an organization that knows what they're doing. They continue to hit schedule. They continue to make sure that the budget's on target. We are in really, really good hands.
Other questions, comments? I'll ask for a mover and a seconder to receive that report. Moved by Mayor McGarvey, seconded by Councillor Fellner, that the board receive the October 8th, 2025 budget and project update for information purposes. Any further discussion? All those in favor? It's carried. Item 3.4, postponed from the September 10th meeting, was the Carling Integrity Commissioner report submitted to the board by the board secretary. I'll speak to that.
Yes, thank you, Chair Robinson. So I understand, although I wasn't at the last meeting, that Councillor Dubrow made a point of order that an item before the board, which is just to be received for information purposes, according to Robert's Rules of Order, is not in order, that it's not a correct thing to do. So I did look up, I asked, I corresponded a little bit with Councillor Dubrow and also looked up Robert's Rules of Order. And I would just say as a preamble, Robert's Rules of Order it's set up so to make meetings as efficient as possible while also allowing the greatest opportunity for debate and discussion. So if something isn't efficient and it's not furthering debate, I think Robert's rules would look at it as something not necessary. And I did find then in a section, if anyone's interested, it's the 11th edition, the most recent edition, page 508 and line 19 to 27. So it's a fairly small section. I'll just read out. A common error is to move that a report be received after it has been read, apparently on the supposition that such a motion is necessary in order for the report to be taken under consideration or to be recorded as having been made. In fact, this motion is meaningless since the report has already been received. Even before a report has been read, a motion to receive it is unnecessary if the time for its reception is established by the order of business. So although it seems rather innocuous to have a resolution saying that the report be received for information purposes, according to Robert's rules, it's not necessary and it's probably not correct. And I know we do use these types of resolutions. We just passed one for the project and budget update, and we often do that for the financial statements as well. So it may be that in the future we don't do that, or we carry on with a tradition that is, as I said, rather innocuous and doesn't take up much time if the board wishes to remain with that. But Councillor Dubrow's point of order was correct.
You. We now have that report in front of us. Any discussion or comments at this point? Councillor Fellner?
So I guess really what I want to know is we're not receiving, we just got this sort of to look at. you know, what we asked for the integrity report, a bunch of councils did. That comprised a good part of this board. The integrity report came back and found that they were in error in their actions, that, you know, then subsequent to Carling Council's integrity commissioner finding them out of line, they decided to go for another legal opinion to determine whether, in fact, the three gentlemen that were in question here, the three CAOs from the town of Parry Sound, the town of Seguin, and township of McDougall, were in fact employees of the township of Carling. Obviously, their integrity commissioner thought they probably were, because they were acting on behalf of all of the townships involved in this enterprise. It seems to me it's kind of a questionable use of public funds to go and ask for another legal opinion when you've already paid one guy to give you his legal opinion. But however, whether or not technically they weren't on the payroll of the township of Carling, so technically maybe they weren't their employees, but they certainly were working on behalf of the township of Carling and behalf of their own townships. So I guess the question I have for Mr. Dubrow, because the last meeting he made a point of asking me whether I read the legal opinion, and he somehow feels that this legal opinion excuses him from his actions, is why do you feel that you can't treat staff from other municipalities with the same respect that you treat your own staff? That's sort of the question to me. To me, these three gentlemen worked very hard on our behalf, and they were publicly, I don't know what the proper term is, slandered. And in the township of Seguin, we're of the opinion that they're due an apology. And why you think that just because technically another legal firm has determined that they're not technically employees of the township of Carling, so your own integrity commissioner's report is incorrect, because it only pertains to employees of your specific township. Why do you feel it's appropriate that you can treat these three gentlemen differently than you treat your own CAO? I don't understand that. So I'm going to go back to my council and say, you know, that Carling seems to be unwilling to do anything. It seems to be unwilling to offer these gentlemen an apology. I think they really deserve one. And we'll move on and act accordingly. But to me, it's nonsense. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but
There was a question in there through me, the chair, I guess, to Councillor Dubrow, your choice as to whether you want to respond to that question or not.
Thank you, Chair. I think the report stands for itself. It's been a year in the making. In totality of the report, I think the report lays it out quite well. And as everyone has a right to an opinion and to how they feel, we sought a legal judgment from legal professionals, and that's why that was included in the document. And at this point in time, I'm not going to make further comment on this situation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments on this item? Shoot. Mayor McGarvey?
Through the chair. As I said some time ago, an apology would have been appreciated. I take it from, and my question would be from Councilor Durbo's last comment is that an apology is not being given at this particular time. Is that correct?
Through me, Councillor Dubrow.
That is correct. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Right. Thank you, Ms. Johnson, for that information. Item 3.5, overall status of YMCA agreement, land transfers, just an update from myself. And I will acknowledge that Fiona Cascanet, the COO of YMCA, is here with us tonight, joining us. I've asked that she be put on as a regular attendee, or invitee to this meeting, since we now have signed the agreement. So I just wanted to, some things were done because of legal matters and that in closed session and some in open. So I just wanted to make sure everyone understands exactly where we are overall with the whole thing. So this 44 Joseph Street, I can deal with the YMCA portion of it first. Smith Crescent, which was the former Optimist Center and then the former YMCA property, has now been legally transferred to this board. And we are now the official owners of that property. And there has been direction given to dispose of that property as soon as possible. And there's an item we're dealing with that in closed session tonight. Further on, 44 Joseph Street has now legally been transferred to this board, is in our name and our ownership as well. So that's been done. The operating lease agreement with the YMCA is now authorized by this board and by the YMCA. So it is now up and operating as well. So that's another great milestone that we've reached. And you probably all saw the press release that was done, I think on September the 22nd, that went out. And my thanks to the YMCA and to Valerie Anovich at Sigwin for being our media lead on this, to get that good word out to everyone of all the great progress that's being made on it. And just further, I'll update on the operating lease agreement, operating/lease agreement with the YMCA. We've had several meetings along those lines. One meeting last week was where we've Ms. Johnson has been keeping, she's not the person to contact for it, but if any of us have heard from user groups, then as a member of the board, pass that along to Ms. Johnson. She's keeping a master list of these user groups, and where the up-to-date list has now been forwarded to the YMCA, and they have a process in place for collecting information about these individual user groups and just seeing what their needs are and how they fit within our needs overall. And there'll be reports on that, but that's some of the good work that's being done by the YMCA on the user group front at this point in time. And we have a preliminary budget meeting scheduled for later in October with members of this committee, the steering committee, and the YMCA to start the process for the preliminary budget, because as we all know, there's going to be costs incurred before the doors open for staffing and those kinds of things. So that budget meeting is scheduled for, I think, October 22nd. I'd be wrong on that date. So that's all good news as well. Along those lines, there's you'll see the YMCA has designed their first ad for the center manager. Ms. Cascanet, is that the proper terminology for the person? So that ad is now up and running, and it's being forwarded to all of you by email by Ms. Johnson. So you'll have that to share. So if you know of anyone in the community who's interested in this position or other positions, you can direct them to that ad, and that ad will direct them to the YMCA. So that's another milestone we're starting to take off. We're starting to look at staffing, which I think is exciting as well to get to this stage. Good. That's it. That's all I had, just to sort of try and bring everyone up to date as possible with just a quick synopsis of a lot of background work that's being done right now going on. So anyway, it's all good news and happy to report. I think we might actually be getting a little ahead now. We're not ahead. We're giving ourselves a little, we finally have a little bit of breathing room, I think, on the operating side, which is good to see, because we've been kind of playing catch up. So anyway, my thanks to the YMCA and to everyone that's been involved with getting us to this stage with all these different agreements and everything, but everything is, our ducks are in a row now, set and ready to go. I'm not sure, Ms. Castanet, if you want to add anything on behalf of the Y at this point.
Yeah, you did an excellent job. Incredibly thorough and really reflective of where we are. Absolutely would encourage folks to share the center manager posting. It's open until October 21st, I believe, and then we'll be working through the selection process. Other positions, supervisor roles of the different sort of operational areas within the center, those will likely be posted end of November, December, and then more frontline positions will be posted in the new year. So that's really exciting. There's been a lot of interest. I think we have a list of over 40 people who are interested in user group access. So looking forward to starting to collect that information and really have a better understanding of what the community's needs are around access to the facility. So that's exciting. And then the only other component is we continue to work on supporting with respect to the equipment and outfitting the center. So that's also to come and will be a decision coming back to the board with respect to the cost and so forth. So that's being led, I believe it's Tim Hunt and a couple of our staff, and we're supporting in making sure that the center is outfitted, ready for opening day. And thank you. It's so exciting. You know what, I'll send it to you, Dale. We got a wonderful email from a past member of the Y when they received the press release of just how thrilled they were that the YMCA would be back in the community, and they were really looking forward to being able to rejoin the Y. So yeah, some really great positive feedback from the community as well as from our staff and volunteers locally.
Any questions for Ms. Castanet on the board? No. Okay. And I guess as thorough as I was, I did miss that part of it. There is some schedules for furnitures and fixtures and equipment out there. Some is responsibility of the contractor, some is the responsibility of the YMCA, and some is the responsibility. The majority of it seems to be the responsibility of this board. So that's the schedules that are being worked on as well, just to make sure there's no duplication in it, and also to make sure that there's no omissions in it as well. We're ready to go. So that good work's being done as well. Right. Thank you. Well, I think that's it for the open session. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Oh, the back page. Sorry.
I'll be brief.
Welcome, Mayor McGarvey.
That's okay. The $50,000 that Stephanie mentioned, it should have been deposited. It's an outright check from the HereSync Foundation. I know that we've got at least $20,000 stuck in Canada Post in two donations of $10,000. So they've been mailed. They were mailed quite a while ago. So my focus right now has been on foundations. The seasonal residents tend to have gone home. So a lot of my work is actually with the foundations in Toronto and wherever they're headquartered. So if any of you know of people within your municipalities that might have family foundations, I think you'd be surprised at how many are out there. I will contact them. We are working as a team, but there's not many people left on the fundraising committee, so we could use help. And we will be starting in early December to accumulate exactly what needs to go on the donor board with everybody, people that will be on the donor board, unless they want to stay anonymous. Anybody that's given $1,000 or more has a place on the electronic donor board. And next MSB meeting, Libby Walker will be here as the chair of the, how are we calling it? Hard Hat Sneak Peek Party, to present a budget for that, because we will need to advance a little bit of funds to pull that off at the end of April. Any questions?
Questions for Mayor McDermott or anything to do with the fundraising? All right. Thank you very much. move to a closed meeting, just first of all, are there any additions to the closed meeting at this point in time? Okay.
Dale, I believe I should exit at this point.
Yeah, well, you'll probably won't have a choice.
Someone's gonna kick me right out.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah,
Have a
good
great
night.
night. Happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you. So can I have a mover and a seconder for the moving into closed session? Moved by Counselor Fellner, seconded by Counselor Lundy. That pursuant to section 239, paragraphs 2 and 3 of the Municipal Act 2001, chapter 25 as amended, the West Prairie Sound Recreation and Cultural Center Board moves to a meeting close to the public in order to address matters pertaining to a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land for municipal or local board purposes, proposed disposition of land. All those in favor? Sorry, all those in favor, going to close? Oh, thank you. Carried.